Hey guys, welcome back to yet another YouTube video. So this video, since of course this weekend, obviously, Formula One resumed their season from the summer break, or here in Australia, winter break as it is. I've put together, of course, a bit of a mid-season awards kind of thing. So I've got down, of course, driver of the season, team of the season, most improved driver and team, and most disappointing driver and team. So let's get straight into it. With, of course, driver of the season. Obviously, I had to pick the championship leader, of course, and that's Max Verstappen. Of course, I thought, there might be a bit of a drop off from him. Of course, winning the world championship last year in controversial circumstances, to say the least. And would go on like a bit of a hangover or something like that. But he's really gone on this year, as the statistics I'm about to read you show. Once again, if you see me look over here, my laptop's over there, so that's why I'm looking over there. So of course, this time last year, obviously, he was second in the championship, of course, with 187 points. I think he was 12 or 13 points behind Lewis Hamilton at this point in the championship last year. He had 5 wins, 8 podiums, 9 top 10s, top 10 finishes, which is 9 points finishes. Excuse me. 4 fastest laps, 5 pole positions, and of course the 1 DNF, which was at the British Grand Prix. Now he did crash out of last year's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but he was still classified because he crashed out. I think it was in the last 5 laps of the race. That was when the red flag came out and all that. So that meant there was only 1 DNF. And then of course, the difference is in 2022, obviously, new car, but still the same Max Verstappen, obviously, or some would argue even a better Max Verstappen. Of course, 258 points. That is, you can do your own maths. I think that's about 50, 60 odd points. 50 odd points. Better than he was last year. 9 wins, which is 4 wins better than he was last year. Obviously, last year ended up with 10 wins. He's already matched that in the first half. Excuse me. Already matched it with 9 wins already for the season. 10 podiums. Of course, 9 of them coming wins, but of course he. I think that 10th podium, I think he finished second in. I think he finished second in that one, or third, something like that. 11 top 10 finishes, 3 fastest laps, 3 pole positions, and of course the 1 DNF again, which was at ironically the Australian Grand Prix, when his engine gave up the ghost. And again, like last year, he did retire from the first event at Bahrain, which I actually watched. It was actually a great race, in the first race of the year. But he was classified due to the fact that he passed 75% distance. Because I think once a driver goes past the 75% distance of a race, that's when you can be classified. So. Be classified even though you retire or you crash out of a race, something like that. So I think, there's no doubt about it that Verstappen, I think that that is definitely driver of the year. Obviously, a driver of the season. Obviously, of course, the championship leader. He's got an 80-point lead which, barring some bad luck, it's that he's now going to be a 2-time world champion, no doubt about it. And this one is probably his first real championship. I know. Please, if any Verstappen fans come across this video, please don't crucify me for saying that. But it was true, obviously. But last year, as I said, he was there at the right time. He was there. He was in front at the most important time of the year, which was on the last lap of the last race of the year. So yeah. Please don't crucify me. And it seems a no-brainer that the team of the year, it has to be Red Bull. I mean, they had 291 points when they were second in the championship last year. At this time last year, and now they're in the lead of the Constructors' Championship with 431 points. That's over 200 points. That is that is about under 150 points difference between last year and this year. That is just incredible. 9 wins this year, all of them from Verstappen, I might add, compared to the 6, which were 5 from Verstappen and 1 from Sergio Perez. 16 podiums combined between the two drivers of between Max and Checo, compared to 10 last year. 22 top 10 finishes between the two, compared to 17 last year. 5 fastest laps, the same thing as last year. Surprisingly, only 4 poles this year. Three from Max and 1 from Checo, which was at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And then compared to last year where they had 5. I happen to guess. I think all of them were, all those 5 poles were from Max Verstappen. So yeah, and then surprisingly 3 DNFs, more DNFs than the 2, and then of course the 2 compared to the 2 DNFs last year, which I think all difference. I think 2021, both of those DNFs from Red Bull were not from their own doing. I think it was from accidents. I know Verstappen, his was an accident. His was an accident at the British Grand Prix on the first lap. I think the other one was from Perez, I believe. And then and then in contrast, this year, I think all 3 of the DNFs, I think, have all come, or most of them have all come from technical issues. And when I say technical issues, I mean engine issues. So I believe that is that. But that's probably their only weakness, probably, for Red Bull. And the worst part is that engine spec is locked in until 2025, and that was of course I think it was last week that, of course, the 2026 rules, engine regulations got announced, which I might maybe do a video of at some stage, just to refresh some of the memories of that. So I think Team of the Year has been Red Bull. The most improved driver and team. Now, I'll go with the driver first. It's no doubt about it. It has to be George Russell. I think he has benefited from that move from Williams to Mercedes. He's definitely benefited. And I think if some might argue that he's been way better than Lewis Hamilton in that team, and he's proven that he will be the future in that team when eventually Lewis Hamilton does retire. So of course he only had 1 top 10 finish last year. He only had one for the whole first half of the year, from the Bahrain Grand Prix to the Canadian Grand Prix, to the Hungarian Grand Prix, last year. This year he's had 12 points finishes. Only 1 DNF, which was, of course, on the first lap at the British Grand Prix, where he was a part of that horrifying crash with Guan Yu Zhou at the first corner. Other than that, I think he's had more top 5 finishes than anybody. Well, probably second best alongside, or second or third best behind probably the two best drivers of the season, the other two best drivers of the season in Verstappen and Leclerc. So I think that he has, I think he has definitely, as I said, benefited from switching to Mercedes for this year. Obviously, he got it most recently the Hungarian Grand Prix a few weeks ago. Did go to his first pole position. So Mr. Saturday is quickly turning into Mr. Sunday for Mercedes this season. And the most improved team, this one is not surprising at all. It is Haas. I mean, some might argue it's because it's the same car as Ferrari, la da da da, yada yada yada. For starters, it's not, because if it was the exact same as the Ferrari, the front nose would be pointy like Ferrari. They would have the exact same side pod radiator intakes and all that. So the only thing that they've copied from Ferrari is the slope thing on top of the side pods. That's the only thing they've copied from Ferrari, and probably the louvers near the side pods on the engine cover. Other than that, they haven't changed. It's probably only them, and that's probably from the most recent upgrade, which they took from to the Hungarian Grand Prix, which I would assume this weekend at the Belgian Grand Prix. I won't be surprised. They will have it on both cars, on both Kevin Magnussen's car and on Mick Schumacher's car. This time last year, they were, of course, last in the championship, 0 points. Their best finish was from Mick Schumacher this time last year when he finished in 12th for the Hungarian Grand Prix, that crazy race. And surprisingly enough, only 2 DNFs, and all of them were from Nikita Mazepin, not surprisingly. And I think, and definitely Mick Schumacher definitely outpaced Mazepin in that last season, definitely. But of course, not surprisingly, Haas were more focused on the new rules for this year compared to last year. I think they didn't develop the car, their 2021 car at all for that last year. And this year, definitely it has worked, with them being 7th in the Constructors' Championship with 34 points. I think they're trying to do some quick maths here. I think they're about 17 points off of Alfa Romeo in 6th in the Constructors' Championship, which is pretty good going. Of course, 7 top 10 finishes. Most of them have come from Kevin Magnussen. But Mick has done well in recent races. He's finally got his first points, of course, at Austria, I think, and now his career is looking pretty respectable. But unfortunately, it can't be the same with the DNFs. Obviously, they've had 5 DNFs, most of them from Schumacher, compared to, obviously, I said 2 from last year. So not surprising there on that front. So yeah, but as I said, a no-brainer really that the most improved team obviously is going to be Haas. And of course, I might as well tie in together the disappointing driver and team, and that is Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. So first of all, Lewis Hamilton. It's not surprising that he's the most disappointing. I thought that we were all going to witness Verstappen versus Hamilton round 2 this year. But it hasn't really been realised this season. I think Verstappen has absolutely blitzed Hamilton and capitalising on the fact that Mercedes had at the start of the season produced a terrible car, which they're slowly getting used to. Of course, Hamilton last year he was the championship leader. He had 4 wins, 8 podiums, 10 top 10 finishes, three fastest laps, 3 poles, and no DNFs. The same as 2022. He has finished every single race this year. The same as last year. But this is where the comparisons end. Surprisingly enough, he's had more points finishes this year compared to last year. Surprisingly, for him finishing him currently 6th in the championship, and compared to last year when he was leading the championship. So yeah, but that's where the comparison ends. Let's just say that. 2 fastest laps. 2 fastest laps compared to 3 last year. 5 podium finishes compared to 8 this year. I think 4 of them are coming over a stretch from the British Grand Prix to most recently the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think he's had a run there of consecutive podiums, which is proving that he's starting to get his season going. But obviously, it's too little, too late. Obviously, Verstappen's already like over 100 points, points in front of Hamilton at this point. So it's already too little, too late. And then of course and then the obvious one, no wins compared to 4 last year. So it's almost for Hamilton, it's almost seemed like I think for the rest of the year, I think Hamilton needs to do what he did in 2009 when he was with McLaren, he only grabbed, I think it was 1 win in the whole first half of the 2009 season before the summer break. And that was, of course, ironically, it was the Hungarian Grand Prix that he got his first win of that season. But he struggled with an uncompetitive car mostly throughout that season. And he ended up afterwards winning, I think he claimed 3 pole positions for the rest of that year. And I think another 2 wins? No, another win. I think it was at Singapore. So yeah, I think Hamilton needs to do the same thing. I think to at least be a bit of a consolation for his season. I think if he goes, I think it'll be very disappointing by Hamilton's standards if he goes through the entire season winless. And speaking of which, and Mercedes winless as I now pan across to them. So of course last year, of course they're the reigning, of course, constructors champions. It's almost seemed like for the first time in this, ironically, in this V6 turbo hybrid era, that they're going to have to surrender the constructors championship. They have won every single one from 2014 to now. To 2021. Unfortunately, it looks like they're gonna have to surrender it. Ironically, they've scored 1 point better than they were last year when they were in the lead in the championship. That's how much Ferrari and Red Bull have improved, because they've had 1 point more than they were last year, and they're third in the constructors championship. That's how much Red Bull and Ferrari have progressed with these new rules. 4 wins last year, of course, none this year. 14 podiums combined. Of course, last year they had Valtteri Bottas in the team. This year it has Russell. This year combined is 11. 17 top 10 finishes last year. That's even better this year with 24, surprisingly, combined between the 2 drivers. And then that's where it all ends. 2 fastest laps combined compared to 5 last year. And then, of course, 1 pole compared to 3 last year. And then, which ironically that pole surprisingly came from Russell, as I said. And then, of course, the 1 DNF, which was again, Russell, and then compared to 3, which all of them were from Valtteri Bottas. So the number 2 drivers obviously are dominating the DNFs for Mercedes this year, last year and this year so far. So, as I said about Hamilton going winless, it'll be disappointing. It would be massively disappointing by Mercedes standards to back up 8 years of unprecedented dominance and then to end that reign with a winless season would be massively disappointing for the Silver Arrows. It'll be massively disappointing on that front. So that's pretty much the end of that. So of course to recap, obviously I think I said driver of the season is Max Verstappen. Team of the season is of course Red Bull. The most improved driver is of course George Russell. The most improved team is the Haas F1 team, and the disappointing driver from the season is Lewis Hamilton, and the most disappointing team is Mercedes. So just to clarify this, I should have clarified this at the start. This is my opinion. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear who's your driver of the season. Who do you think has improved most in 2022? Who's disappointed you most in 2022? Maybe someone different. Maybe I don't know. It's McLaren. Maybe it's been AlphaTauri that's been disappointing for you. I want to hear your opinions down in the comments below. As always, of course, and then other than that, like this video, share to anybody who's an F1 fan, and get excited about F1 starting the back end of the season. There's I think about 10, 11 races left. So and it's going to be interesting to see when will Max Verstappen become a 2-time world champion. So yeah, and last not least, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is named subscribe. So until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and wherever you may be, may the sunshine or the moon shine on you.